This is David, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the Milviz Cessna 310. Some of you may remember that I did a review of the Milviz 310 a couple months ago, but this version is for X-Plane 11. This is not just a direct port over. They've done a lot of nice things with this airplane in X-Plane 11, so I wanted to bring that up and just kind of go through the airplane for a few minutes. Alright, so per the normal thing with Milviz, the airplane looks excellent on the outside. The bump mapping looks really spectacular in X-Plane. One of the things I like about X-Plane over Prepared is just how clean the airplanes look. They don't have a lot of the jaggies that you do in Prepared. You can see all the really nice detail there in the texture work. It's really a beautiful airplane all around, just like it is in Prepared. I've got the GTN 750 installed from Reality XP. Super simple process, and we'll go through that here in just a second. Like I said, textures, bump mapping, and 3D modeling all look great on the exterior of this airplane. And I'll show you a really cool feature on the exterior of the airplane here in just a minute when we get to where we're going. Anyway, this is Milviz's first foray into X-Plane, and I have to say I think they've done a really excellent job. Like I said, some of the details are really great. You can't really see it here just because the way the sun is right now, but if you look right there, you can see the dirt, and you can actually see the bump mapping of the leather on the panel. And if you zoom in really close, you can actually see bump mapping on this leather here that's different from the carpeting style stuff up here. So really nicely done exterior model. Inside, the engines look great. Let's go ahead and come inside. Alright, so it's pretty much the same story on the inside. All the textures look really nicely done. Obviously the breakers and stuff don't work, but pretty much everything else does. You've got really nice avionics setup in here with the dual engine analyzers, the GTN 750 and a 430 as a backup. You can put a 650 in here along with the 750. I just don't own the 650 for X-Plane. But the texture work is really nice in this airplane, and I have to compliment them. The glass reflections in this airplane are about the closest thing I've ever seen to reality. Another cool thing about X-Plane is if you watch there, the PBR on this metal right there, you can just see it change in a little kind of chrome or polished piece changes. But anyway, the glass reflections on the instruments, right there, those look really nicely done. Once again, that PBR, kind of bringing, you see, like, I think it looks like a fingerprint or something down there. You can see it as it moves differently than from the rest of the glass. Some really nice bump mapping in here. You can actually see the fine grain of the yoke as we move it through the light, how the light changes on that. So it's really nicely done job with this airplane. Let's go ahead and shut the door, and we'll go ahead and get the airplane started up. Once again, kind of that nice chrome effect there. Click the yokes off just so I can see everything. Alright, I'll bring this mixture up. I just shut the airplane down, so it probably won't need too much of a prime. Let's bring it, start our right or left engine first. Left alternator on. Crack our throttle a little bit. Alright, here we go. Oh, would help if I turn the master switch on. Oh, wrong mixture. Alternator on. Alright, oil pressure is good on both sides. Oil temperature is good. Alright. And bring our avionics. let's go ahead and get the cow flaps open. The sound package on this airplane is also really well done, really nicely done, both inside and outside. So I'm not sure why, but for some reason, X-Plane thinks that this runway is dirt. It's an issue with the scenery. Nice creaking sounds. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and just turn off our sounds here and X-Plane for just a minute so I can talk a little bit. Yeah, the flight dynamics of the airplane feel really nice. The X-Plane does do a better job of simulating multi-engine aerodynamics than Prepared does. And I say this, as a CFI. I say this also as an MEI, which means multi-engine instructor. So I'm certified to teach in multi-engines as well. I've never flown a 310, so disclaimer there. But I have flown the 310's larger brother. I've flown the Cessna 340. One thing Milviz has done with this airplane is they've captured the quirks of the airplane. The 310 was known to be kind of a squirrely airplane when it came to pitch and everything. And it does not take much on this airplane to cause relatively large pitch changes. So Milviz has, captured that and done a really good job of it. So to kind of set an example of the multi-engine flight dynamics in X-Plane versus Prepared and how Milviz has modeled those, I'm going to do a maneuver called VMC Demo as we make our way over here to St. Bart's. And so VMC Demo, basically what we're going to do is we're going to create a situation where we take the aircraft to its minimum controllable airspeed, or VMC, or velocity minimum control. Alright, so I'm going to take the airplane to that at a single engine. We're going to recover the first indication of a stall, which is the buffet, the buzzer, or a stall, or a loss of directional control. With this airplane, you tend to get the loss of directional control first because you have so much power. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and turn the sound back on here. I'm sure there's probably a way to do this besides that, but I'm pretty new to X-Plane. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and kill my critical engine. So I'm going to pull power back on my left engine. Prop goes full forward. And we'll pitch the airplane up to lose about a knot a second. So as I'm doing this, I'm putting in some aileron into my good engine. Obviously some rudder, look for that half ball deflection. Alright, full rudder, aileron in there. There's my loss of directional control. Reduce my power on my good engine. Get my nose coming down, get above VMC. Bring that power back in. Glide stable for a second. And we can just scissor these throttles. Back down to 24 square. Still trying to figure out if I like my reshade preset. I think I like it lit on, but you can see that it does change how everything looks in the cockpit with it off. Still looks very nicely. I think the cockpit actually looks a little bit better with it off, so let's leave it off for now. Cowl flaps closed. So for the last little bit of this, I'm going to change our weather and go over to, so we're going to go to some overcast cumulus. We're going to go sort of some severe precip, and you'll see why here in just a second. We'll run that up a little bit. There we go. So we got some really nice rain effects here on the airplane. The rain effect on the outside of the airplane as well. What's cool about the rain effects is that they actually accumulate over time. So, as you can see, it's getting harder and harder to see out of the cockpit here. And I'm skidding. So you can see it on the side windows there as well. And when we come to the outside view, you have that same distortion, same water droplets. So pretty neat stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and switch over to night. I'm going to kind of help myself out here and go ahead and bring on some lights. You can mouse wheel all of these as well. Oh, wrong switch. And we'll bring all these on. One thing I do like about X-Plane is just how quickly you can switch to night. There's no reloading of textures. That was basically it. Nice thing is when I find it here is that you can actually adjust the brightness of the lights in the cabin as well. So come up here, since I can't find it, and I'll turn on my flashlight. There we go. So now I can adjust the brightness of the light control on my seats. So that's pretty cool. Alright, don't need lights on, and I don't need my flashlight, though it is helpful. Alright, so let's go ahead and taxi back out here, and we'll do a takeoff out of here at night. And we'll disable sounds again just so I can be heard. So the exterior lighting of this airplane looks really nice. You can see a light back there reflecting onto the airplane. The strobe, flashes onto the plane. The lights all, cast a glow on it. Once again, you can see that really nice panel lighting inside the airplane. That does change, whether you had the GTN enabled or that. So you can see it actually changes. And that's it. That's literally all there is to change to the GTN in this airplane. You also have chocks and ground stuff. And also, let's go ahead and depart out of here. And it's going to be kind of interesting takeoff because there is no runway lights here. So So if you are going to use this airplane for an instrument platform, it is a good airplane for that. The instruments move really nice and smoothly there, as you can see with the ADI, the HSI, the altimeter, and airspeed. They all move really nicely. Just a really, really well done airplane. So we'll go ahead and prevent that descent from coming in there. Just a really nice look to the airplane. Go ahead and take it back to daytime now. And it's the Caribbean, so I will take the time to set this to view again and lose the preset. There we go. With that said, I do 100% recommend you give this airplane a purchase. And for those of you who are still on the fence about X-Plane, I do recommend giving it a try. I know that when I first came over to X-Plane, I was like, oh, this is no good compared to Prepared 3D or FSX even when I first came over to X-Plane 10. But there's something about it that kept me coming back, kept me wanting to try the sim more and more. As a CFI, as a real world pilot, I do feel that the flight dynamics are a little bit better in X-Plane. I do think that's because of their blade element theory versus just a CFG for the default airplanes. Now, if you get into something like the Majestic Dash 8 or some of the A2A airplanes, those are amazing aircraft and Prepared. And their flight modeling is about as close as you can get to flying the real thing. But default, X-Plane's got it beat. So I do enjoy flying X-Plane. I'm not an X-Plane fanboy. I still primarily am a Prepared 3D user. But I kind of split my time about a 35, 60 split or 65 split. Sorry, 55 split. Math was never my forte. Most of it was going to Prepared, but X-Plane is a great platform. Like I said, if anybody is on the fence about it, just go ahead and grab yourself a payware title for it. You will not be sorry that you did. The default airplanes in both sims leave a lot to be desired and don't really give you a good picture of what the program is really about. A couple visual add-ons for X-Plane make a big difference. So yeah, I definitely recommend the platform, and I definitely recommend the 310 by Milviz. It is a absolutely excellent aircraft for both Prepared and for X-Plane. All right, folks, I hope everyone has enjoyed this video. Please give it a like or subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And you'll expect to see more X-Plane content coming out soon, and also some reviews on some other Prepared 3D aircraft coming out soon. All right, folks, have a good one.